You're floating in open water, cold, silent. Then a shadow passes beneath you, 30 feet long, black and white, moving without a single sound. It circles once, twice. It could snap you in half in under a second. It doesn't. This is the orca, one of the most powerful hunters the ocean has ever produced, stronger than a lion, smarter than a wolf, more coordinated than a shark pack. It has killed great white sharks. It has even been documented hunting blue whales, the largest animals to ever exist on Earth. But throughout recorded history, there has never been a confirmed fatal orca attack on a human in the wild. Not one. Wait, that should be impossible. An animal this powerful, this intelligent, sharing our oceans for thousands of years, and not a single confirmed fatal attack in the wild. By the end of this story, you'll understand something that may change the way you see every predator on this planet, because the reason isn't luck, and it isn't simply rarity. It's a choice, or at least that's what many researchers believe. And that possibility is stranger than anything you've been taught about nature. Let's go back roughly 65 million years. Before there were oceans ruled by giant predators, there were the distant ancestors of today's whales. Small, hoofed, land-walking mammals that slowly adapted to life in the water. One branch of that lineage became something else entirely, something built for the open ocean. Orcinus orca. Not a whale by family, but the largest member of the dolphin family on Earth. Its brain weighs nearly 4 times as much as the average human brain. Not just bigger, structured differently. Orcas possess a highly developed paralimbic region, an area associated with emotion and social bonding, that some researchers believe is more elaborate than the equivalent region in the human brain. An animal built for feeling as much as for killing. Now picture a hunting pod. 20 orcas, moving in perfect formation, like a military unit that has trained together for years. Because they have. Some orca pods stay together for life. 30, 40, even 50 years. Grandmothers lead the hunts. Daughters inherit the knowledge. Sons often remain with their mothers throughout their lives, even as fully grown 20-foot predators. This is not a fish-following instinct. This is a culture. And cultures don't just pass down how to hunt. They pass down who counts as prey, and who doesn't. In the late 1990s, off the coast of California, scientists documented orcas doing something that stunned the marine biology world. They attacked and killed a great white shark, far larger than any single one of them, flipping it upside down to induce a temporary state called tonic immobility, then feeding primarily on its liver, the most calorie-rich organ in its body. Surgical, deliberate, terrifyingly precise. This is what an orca is capable of. This is the animal swimming just a few yards from human divers in open water, week after week, year after year. And yet, nothing happens. But here's where it gets stranger, because for decades, humans hunted orcas, harpooned them, captured their calves, shot them from boats. The predator that could have fought back on countless occasions never launched a documented pattern of retaliatory attacks against humans in the wild. Think about that for a moment. A dolphin hit by a bullet doesn't easily forget. Orcas are believed to have some of the longest-lasting social memories in the animal kingdom, and many researchers believe they can remember individuals and significant events for decades. Yet not a single wild pod has ever been documented organizing retaliatory attacks against humans. But here's where it gets even stranger, because captivity tells a completely different story. In 2010, at SeaWorld Orlando, a captive orca named Tilikum killed his trainer Dawn Brancheau, pulling her into the pool during a live performance. It wasn't the first human death associated with him. 2 people had already died in separate incidents involving Tilikum before that day. Wait, so orcas do kill humans? Yes, but every confirmed fatality involving orcas has occurred in captivity or under captive conditions. There has never been a confirmed fatal attack by a wild orca in the open ocean. That distinction is the whole mystery. Researchers studying captive orca behavior have found something disturbing. These animals often show measurable signs of chronic stress. Collapsed dorsal fins, repetitive swimming patterns, elevated stress hormones. Some scientists compare these behaviors to symptoms associated with severe psychological stress in humans living under extreme confinement. An orca in the wild can swim up to 100 miles in a single day. In a concrete tank, it may spend decades swimming in circles inside a space far smaller than its natural range. Put a mind built for open ocean intelligence, deep social bonds, and lifelong family pods into a box the size of a parking lot, and something begins to break. The killings may not have been random acts of rage. Some researchers believe they were signs of profound psychological distress. Now go back to the wild ocean, where none of that confinement exists, where orcas have every opportunity, every physical advantage, and none of the extreme conditions associated with captivity. And they still don't attack us. So what's actually happening in that decision? For decades, marine biologist Ingrid Visser has documented something remarkable off the coast of New Zealand: wild orcas that appear to recognize individual human divers across multiple encounters, often approaching calmly instead of avoiding or attacking. Recognition, not fear, not aggression, something closer to curiosity. Some researchers believe orcas may be applying the same social filtering they use with other species. Certain orca populations consistently ignore animals they could easily hunt while specializing in specific prey, a pattern that appears to be shaped largely by culture, passed down within family pods rather than driven by instinct alone. Different pods, different diets, different rules. Some specialize in seals, others eat mostly fish, others hunt marine mammals, and many continue following those traditions even when other potential prey is readily available. If an orca can learn that certain animals simply aren't food because of its pod's culture, what does that tell you about how it might be classifying us? Not prey, not a direct threat, something else entirely, a category we still don't fully understand. And that's where the story takes its darkest turn. Because if orcas are this capable of restraint, this socially sophisticated, this emotionally complex, then every time we've hunted them, captured them, confined them, we weren't dealing with a simple, instinct-driven predator. We were dealing with something closer to a person than we once imagined. That reframes everything. The whaling ships of the 20th century didn't just kill individual animals. They tore apart grandmothers, mothers, and sons who had spent decades together, learning the same hunting grounds, sharing the same vocal traditions passed down through generations. Yes, vocal traditions. Different orcapods have distinct vocal patterns so specific that researchers can often identify which family a pod belongs to just by listening. It's one of the closest things in the ocean to a regional accent. An animal with accents, with grandmothers who lead, with sons who stay, with memories that can last for decades, and yet one that has never been documented turning those memories into fatal attacks on humans in the wild. Compare that to captivity, where the same species, stripped of ocean, family, and choice, sometimes breaks in ways that end in tragedy. The pattern isn't simply about danger, it's about environment. Freedom versus confinement. Culture versus isolation. Choice versus no choice at all. Now think about what that means for the rest of the animal kingdom. We've spent centuries measuring intelligence by comparing every species to ourselves: tool use, mirror recognition, problem solving. But maybe the more revealing test isn't what an animal can do to us. It's what an animal chooses not to do when it easily could. By that measure, the ocean's most formidable hunters may also possess extraordinary restraint. Animals capable of ending a human life in seconds, yet spending generations passing down which lives are worth taking, and which ones simply aren't. Somewhere off the coast of New Zealand right now, a pod of orcas is moving through open water. A diver is nearby. The orcas circle once. They recognize a shape they've encountered before, and they swim on. Not because they're incapable of violence, but perhaps because, through millions of years of evolution and generations of cultural learning, humans simply don't belong in the category they hunt. Maybe the real question was never why the ocean's most powerful predator so rarely harms us. Maybe the question is, what else on this planet has been quietly making the same choice? And we simply never stopped long enough to notice.